Why are you leaving? Oh, so me mentioning cosplay brought that to your head? Okay. Better come back. Yeah. Yes. So for those, so I have to ask this, and I will ask it again. I already asked it already, but how many of you do not know how to play the card game? Okay, how many of you know a little bit, but need some refreshing? Okay, that's good. How many of you already know how to play and you're actually pretty good at it? Yeah, I knew the cameraman over there would. I duel him a lot. He's a tough guy. Once in a while. Oh, come on. It's all fun. We have fun when we duel. Hey, you want to learn about card games?
I played a card game.
Well, that's fine. Come sit anyway, and you'll get a refresher. And you'll get a surprise, too. Which, anyway, I'll move on to the next slide. So our agenda for today in this panel, I will be teaching the basic rules, like very, very, very basic. I'm not going to go into too many complicated formalities. You can ask those later on at our last thing, which is the question. And then, of course, after we're done teaching, I have a special surprise for everyone.
Yay!
Hey, you made it!
Right.
Yay! So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Hey, you want to learn about card games? And she walks away. Wow. That's nice. So, let's get started on teaching. So, the things you need before you start dueling. This should be pretty basic. You need a deck of cards, right? How can you play a card game without a deck of cards? So basically a deck consists of a standard 40 to 60 cards. You can get already pre-made decks in the dealer's room or at like Target, Walmart, any place that does sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Or otherwise you can just buy a bunch of packs and try and make a deck out of that. Sometimes that's fun, other times it's kind of nerve-wracking. And then of course there's another complicated thing, but I don't want to say what it is.
No, please.
No, I don't want to confuse everybody.
Tell yourself enough.
Yeah, no. Another basic thing that you should have is an opponent. How can you duel against someone without having someone there? It's kind of obvious.
I played chess myself once.
Well, I guess you could duel with yourself too, but sometimes that gets a little confusing. But yeah, make sure that you have like 2 decks on hand if you're going to duel against yourself. And then if you come to a con, always make sure to bring a deck, because there will be at least one person that will duel you. Guarantee it. And then of course, something helpful is to have like a piece of paper or a calculator to go into one of the other things that I will describe in the next slide, which is things to set up and do before starting a duel. Life points. I know in the anime we start with 4,000 life points, but the actual trading card game, we get a little bit more crazier with our cards, and so we raise the bar up to 8,000. So whenever you're going to duel somebody, you have 8,000 life points starting up, and that's pretty much it. Oh, I should have probably said this too. Hey, you came back.
I did.
Yeah, see, I told you it was still going to be there.
It was. Actually, the line just, zoop, it was gone.
Yeah. So anyway, If you guys really want to keep track of everything, if you have like a notebook and paper or whatever, take notes, like she's doing. See, do the responsible thing like her, or otherwise, if you guys are so lazy that you can't take notes, there'll be a YouTube video of it. So.
When do we do spells on during the opponent's turn?
I will explain that. Just wait. I'll get to spells in a little bit. And all the other types of cards in a little bit. So again, life points, yeah, 8,000, yada yada. Shuffle your deck. It's just a pretty basic thing because you always want to make sure that you start with something new, because the last thing you want to do is you start a duel without shuffling and you see pretty much the exact same cards in the exact same order of the last game you played. That kind of looks bad. Now sometimes with shuffling you get a bunch of good cards, other times you get terrible cards, and sometimes it's okay. And then next thing, your hand. You start off with 5 cards in your hand, but you put them off to the side, and you can look at them, but it's probably better not to, just so that way you don't like plan strategies so quickly and say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this before the opponent like gets a chance and go, oh. Yeah. And then another thing, decision making. You need to find out who starts the game, because you could argue back and forth, oh, I'm going to start, no, I'm going to start, no, I'm going to start. Got to find something to decide that. So you can do that with a coin toss, rock, paper, scissors, rolling a dice, pistols at dawn, though I don't recommend that. And then, of course, winning, losing, and draws. How you win in the game. You make your opponent's life points go to 0. And you can do this by doing various things that I will touch up on. Another thing, too, if your opponent or you runs out of cards in your deck and you have to draw, you automatically lose, because you have nothing else to play. And then, of course, draws, they rarely happen, but they do. And that usually happens when both players' life points hit 0 exactly at the same time. Not like, oh, I go to 0, but then you go to 0 right after I do this. No. But yeah, and then, of course, in a duel, you have to decide on one of 2 things. You could do a regular duel, which is just, oh, we'll just play one game and that's it. Or you can do a match duel, which is usually common in tournaments or otherwise standard with the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, which is you play a best-of-3 match. So you would wait until either you or your opponent wins 2 games, either by hitting life points down to 0 or running out of cards in the deck. And of course in matches, sometimes you get draws, which is where you get a win, but then you get a loss, and then you get a draw. Or you get 3 draws in a row. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not good at grammar. Hi gentlemen, you want to learn about card games? Hey lady, you want to learn about card games? No, I think I scared her. Okay. Shush.